Republic of Nigeria Bola Tinubu release Nnamdi Kanu under 72 hours and failure to do so.
99.9% of Igbos today want their own Biafra.
I will burn down Nigeria beyond repair and will never look back. I will also imprison every Nigerian politician that I see anywhere in America. Remain in your country and build it. Otherwise, I will waste your life.
Donald Trump don't receive a lot of information about Biafra. In no distant time, Biafra will be declared. I won't make you pay attention, listen to what this young man talk, and a lot of secrets will be say in the review and information will be say in the past now. So a lot of things will be say you go hear from this video. Just calm down, pay attention, watch this video from the start to the end, and make sure you share it right now to all Biafra so that they go there at a lot of what won't happen and what they go on presently right now. A lot of information. Now, in fact, US Parliament they involved in Biafra matter right now. Israel now they involved now. So pay attention, listen to what they go on, and drop your opinion at the comment section. Make sure you share this video right now, and don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates.
Nigeria is a forced union of so many nations in one. Even if no other person agrees to that, ask any Igbo person, ask any Biafran. 99.9% of Igbos today want their own Biafra. Benjamin Netanyahu many years ago was talking about the thing that happened in Biafra, and he mentioned it in his own state address. Biafrans went to war for 3 years with Nigeria because they wanted freedom. And you are here talking about the two-state solution when you have not settled the issue of Biafra.
Biafrans all over the world. Watch this video from beginning to the end. Don't even skip any part of it. Biafra is already here. Watch this video from beginning to the end. This our brother Furu. A lot of things. Biafra is already here. We don't need to panic. Nigerian government is in a big mess. Watch this video. Watch here. Can you also surround you watch? Thank you. I will see you at the end of the video. Bye for now.
Let me tell you where this started from. This outcry is as a result of the very undiplomatic behavior of Nigeria's vice president. And it happened when? This happened in September of this year. And this was September 24, 2025. And what was the occasion? It was a statement when the vice president of Nigeria, I'll give you the caption of his statement. It says, statement delivered by His Excellency Kashim Shettima, GCOM Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, during the general debate of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Remember that video of your vice president where he was campaigning or canvassing for the freedom of Palestine? Let's not talk too much. I want you to watch the video of your vice president at the United Nations.
We are despised by terrorists because we choose tolerance over tyranny. Their ambition is to divide us and to poison our humanity with a toxic rhetoric of hate. Our difference is the distance between shadow and light, between despair and hope, between the ruin of anarchy and the promise of order. We do not only fight wars, we pit and shelter the innocent victims of war. This is why we are not indifferent to the devastations of our neighbors near and distant. This is why we speak of the violence and aggression visited upon innocent civilians in Gaza, the illegal attack on Qatar, and the tensions that scar the wider region. It is not only because of the culture of impunity that makes such acts intolerable, but because our own bitter experience has taught us that such violence never ends where it begins. We do not believe that the sanctity of human life should be trapped in the corridors of endless debate. That is why we say, without stuttering and without doubt, that a two-state solution remains the most dignified path to lasting peace for the people of Palestine.
This is the vice president of Nigeria, not Palestine. The journey from Palestine, from Nigeria to Palestine by air is 3,700 kilometers. But the vice president of Nigeria was at the United Nations. And what formed the basis, the core of his speech was Palestine. Just Stay calm and come with me. Let me walk you through the process of why we got to where we are. The section where he started talking about Palestine, it starts with number 9 of his points. Be patient with me. I'm going to read you something and explain to you what I'm reading, so you understand why Israel sees this as a matter of life and death. They must be involved. So the number 9 point he was making here in his speech, okay, you didn't hear that one. He says, Nigeria's soldiers and civilians carry a proud legacy. They have participated in 51 out of 60 United Nations peacekeeping operations since our independence in 1960. We have stood with our partners in Africa to resolve conflicts, and we continue that commitment today through the multinational joint task force. At home, we confront the scourge of insurgency with resolve. From this long and difficult struggle with violent extremism, one truth stands clear. Military tactics may win battles measured in months and years, but in wars that span generations, it is values and ideas that deliver the ultimate victory. Can you imagine the vice president of Nigeria is about to talk about Palestine, and he started first of all by talking about the military might of Nigeria? Keep your mind on what I just said. You are about to speak on Palestine and Israel, and you started by talking about how powerful Nigerian military is and how many peacekeeping operations we have had to get involved in since our independence. So let's go to item number 10. So number 10, he says, we are despised by terrorists because we choose tolerance over tyranny. Their ambitions is to divide us and to poison our humanity with a toxic rhetoric of hate. Our difference is the distance between shadow and light, between despair and hope, between the ruin of anarchy and the promise of order. We do not only fight wars, we feed and shelter the innocent victims of wars. Are you hearing? The vice president of Nigeria, he's about to talk about Palestine. Look at all the things he's saying. He now says, this is why we are not indifferent to the devastations of our neighbors near and distant. This is why we speak of the violence and aggression visited upon innocent civilians in Gaza, in Palestine, the illegal attack on Qatar, and the tensions that scar the wider region. It is not only because of the culture of impunity that makes such acts intolerable, but because our own bitter experience has taught us that such violence never ends where it begins. My beloved ones, I don't know any nation that will hear stuff like this and not see that this is a threat of military action against Israel. The war that is visited, the violence, that aggression visited upon innocent civilians in Gaza, and then the illegal attack on Qatar. The vice president of Nigeria basically speaking against Israel's actions in Gaza and Israel's attack on Qatar, and then mentioning war and military might in the same sentences where he's talking about what Israel is doing in Gaza. And I ask, where did the boldness come from? I will explain it when I finish reading to you the next line, the next item, which is number 11. Number 11 says, we do not believe that the sanctity of human life should be trapped in the corridors of endless debate. That is why we say, without stuttering and without doubt, that a two-state solution remains the most dignified path to lasting peace for the people of Palestine. A two-state solution. For too long, this community has borne the weight of moral conflict. For too long, we have been caught in the crossfire of violence that offends the conscience of humanity. We come not as partisans, but as peacemakers. We come as brothers and sisters of a shared world, a world that must never reduce the right to live into the currency of devious politics. The people of Palestine are not collateral damage in a civilization searching for order. They are human beings, equal in worth, entitled to the same freedoms and dignities that the rest of us take for granted. A two-state solution in Palestine. So the vice president of Nigeria, I keep mentioning that Nigeria, jets out of Nigeria, goes to the United Nations, with all these powerful, subtle threats to Israel, you are talking about Israel's actions in Gaza and the bombing in Qatar, and you are saying it along with how mighty our military is, how powerful, how much wars we have fought, and the rest of them. And on top of that, you now say two-state solution. Knowing how sensitive these topics are, you're talking about two-state solution when you have people in your own country where you come from who are not even united. Nigeria is a forced union of so many nations in one. Even if no other person agrees to that, ask any Igbo person, ask any Biafran. 99.9% of Igbos today want their own Biafra. Benjamin Netanyahu many years ago was talking about the thing that happened in Biafra, and he mentioned it in his own state address. Biafrans went to war for 3 years with Nigeria because they wanted freedom. And you are here talking about the two-state solution when you have not settled the issue of Biafra in your own country where you came from. What gave you the audacity and the boldness to do that? It is because you believed that the conquest by Islam of Nigeria had now been completed, which is why you guys had Muslim ticket. If it wasn't that there was Muslim ticket and that psychologically you believed in your mind that you guys have already conquered Nigeria, that any other thing anyone was talking about was nonsense, was balderdash, you would never have the audacity to go to United Nations rather than talking about what the terrorists are doing in Nigeria, how the terrorists are raping and killing people and dispossessing them of their homelands and farmlands, how that they have become so horrible. The impunity and the silence from the authorities and the lack of action from the Nigerian government has been so much that should have been your own speech at the United Nations. You should have been there asking for help. Instead, it was Palestine because you felt like, well, we have gotten this nation now. We are now the giant, the Muslim giant of Africa. And so with all the might we have, resources, economic power, military, we can actually now help other Muslim brothers that are suffering. So you were basically putting yourself up as the big helper, the big savior for Palestine from Israel. And you don't know how diplomatic code words can actually ring in the ears of the opponents. Israel got it. Israel has the strongest intelligence network in the world, and so they got your message loud and clear. Little wonder the moment the whole United Nations thing was over, the outcry against Christian persecution was born. And that was how I knew that Israel was eventually going to get involved. And if you listen to that video that I played to you, you see that I talked about it, that how can jihadists reign so supreme in Nigeria? Everybody knows how much oil Nigeria has, even though the citizens don't get to enjoy it, but we know how blessed Nigeria is with natural resources. Don't talk about the gas in Imo State that is probably the largest deposit of gas in all of West Africa. Don't talk about the oil in Eastern Nigeria, old Eastern Nigeria comprising Rivers State, Delta State, Abia State, Imo State, even Anambra State. Everywhere natural resources. You go up north, you see all those gold and all manner of resources you can think of. So imagine Israel saying to themselves, oh my God, is this what we are faced with now? So these guys now have taken over Nigeria and then they gain access to the oil well. Probably as we're talking, before you know it, the terrorists who have been conquering from up north, coming to the middle belt, they have taken over local governments in Benue State. I was there when the governor of Benue State then, Otom, was saying that about 18 or 19 out of 20-something local governments have been taken over by the Fulani militia, ethnic militia, and that they have renamed the villages they took over from Christians who are now living in IDP camps. Took over Christian villages, renamed them immediately. Recently, a soldier came out and said he was leaving the army, Nigerian army. He was so angry, the video was viral. He said his anger was that they saw their own commanders in the army helping invading Fulani terrorists settle down properly in the Christian villages that they took over forcefully from Christians in Benue State. Everybody saw the video. And some others will get angry and say that every time we see Boko Haram or terrorists to shoot, and they will tell us, they will be waiting for order to shoot, and they will tell us don't shoot. And we're asking ourselves, why are we then spending all this money, security, a vote, running into millions of dollars to buy weapons, but then we can't use the weapons to kill terrorists? Look at the stupidity, the rubbish that Nigeria was doing. thinking that nobody was watching, thinking that nothing was ever going to happen. And so the Lord orchestrated for your vice president to go out there and stir the waters and bring about this. The braggadocio had to end. The pomposity had to end. Okay? They were so arrogant about it. They were rubbing it in our faces that you've been conquered and there's nothing you can do. Nigerians were switching citizenship all over the place. Nigerians were running out. Everywhere you went, you were treated like trash as a Nigerian. Because what was happening in Nigeria, nobody could comprehend it. You are looking at the stories. A terrorist is there. You tell me not to shoot him. The terrorist is raping and killing people, taking over villages, and you're helping them to settle well. And then the people who own the villages are told to go and remain in IDP camp forever. No time for them to return to their villages. They've lost them forever. So what is probably going to happen is that they have to relocate those people to a different place. They have to lose their ancestral home. But the vice president of Nigeria is busy canvassing for a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. They are busy criticizing Israel for saying that the Palestinians have to leave and go somewhere else. But the Christians in Nigeria who have lost their homes to Fulani ethnic militia are meant to be relocated to another place to lose their homelands forever. But in Palestine, they are not supposed to lose their homelands to Israel. You never thought the double standard was going to be exposed. And so now let me come down to the point I was trying to make. Every single thing that the vice president of Nigeria, every signal he sent to Israel is what he's getting back now. Let me start with the first signal.
You see this particular video where they play, so I won't make you just calm down, watch them. Now for people who be say no waiting Mazana the Kalo they fight for, or for people who don't forget waiting Mazana the Kalo they fight for, or for people who don't give up for Biafra, you don't need to give up for Biafra. Biafra now something will be say it have come to stay. Listen to waiting Mazana the Kalo talk on this video for a reminder and share this video to everyone on every social media platform. No forget to share this video. No forget. Now the only one I feel take encourage supporters. Now also to rekindle all the hope Biafras that Biafra is still alive. And don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates.
What does Biafra mean?
It means freedom, liberty, fairness, equity, and justice.
In practical terms, these are very good sounding words, but in practical terms, what does Biafra mean?
Confederation.
So a weak center,
Very weak.
very strong regions.
Absolutely.
Have you had a change of mind, therefore, about getting an independent Biafra? Because that's what I seem to be hearing.
No, I've not changed my mind, no. An independent Biafra means going back to the way we were before the white man came.
Okay, so you're not talking about a federation when you say a confederation. You're not talking about a federation as part of Nigeria. You're talking about total independence.
Absolute independence.
Complete independence. Now, is there anything that can happen that will make you change your mind about this particular direction?
No.
So it is either Biafra or nothing else?
Or death, yes.
Or death?
That's correct.
If push comes to shove,
Yes.
will you go to war?
No, because truth is a far more potent and deadlier weapon than bullets and mortars.
So
Truth.
no war? You've ruled out the...
Absolutely, I don't believe in war, no war. When I say Biafra or death, I'll keep pushing. Either I am alive, I die in the process, I won't stop. Allow me to repeat, if you don't mind. Had sovereign national conference been convened by the powers that be, where every ethnic nation, I said every, I don't care if there are 600, I don't care. Everyone is
all the 500 plus.
Everyone together to say, this is all, others can delegate, I don't know, powers to other people to attend on their behalf. Sit down to say, what type of country do we want? Sit down, discuss, agree. I can begin to perhaps submit to your position.
Is it too late?
It is way too late. They've killed too many people. They've ruined too many lives. They've wasted too many souls. How do we bring those people back?
If the federal government, given the agitation that is going on, becomes convinced that, you know what, these people have a point, it is time to actually address all these issues, and they begin to systematically address some of these issues, would you change your mind?
No, because of the deceptions of the past.
No trust?
No trust. Aburi was there, it was negotiated. Nothing happened. 1968, if I recall. And the confab report, what became of it? How about the 3 R's? Reconciliation, reconstruction, and heaven knows what else. What became of them? Nothing. Calabar Seaport is not working. Can you tell me why it's not working? It's a seaport used by the colonial masters. Why is it not working today? How about Iguacha Seaport? Why is it not being used? Why not worry? Why must we allow only Lagos to function as a viable seaport? In England, where I used to live, you had Liverpool, you had the Sun, which is Portsmouth, Southampton, everywhere. You had harbors and ports. So why must you have only one?
I've heard people say these are very valid arguments, and that these are things that are to do with bad governance. So the average Biafran, to use your phrase, or Igbo man in the Igbo, is facing poverty much in the same way that the average guy in Yobe State is facing poverty. And so these are issues of governance. You don't agree with that?
I agree completely.
Okay. So if that is it, why isn't the agitation about tackling the problem, which is ensuring good governance, perhaps starting from locally? Because part of the allegations against you is that you don't confront your political leaders in the East, and you'd like to blame Abuja for everything.
Because the way I would want to solve a problem is not how a Fulani man would want to solve it.
You really believe this is an ethnic thing, and the
ethnic.
approach is different?
No, the approach is different. No, it's not ethnic. It is more to do with value system.
Right.
The way you may want to solve a problem could be markedly different from how I do mine.
What is the geographical makeup of Biafra, as far as you are concerned, this Biafra that you want? So for example, if we're doing a referendum, where will that referendum take place? Is it only the 5?
It's on, no.
It's okay.
It's on, which is River State, Bayelsa, Delta, Anambra, Imo, Enugu, Ebonyi, Cross River.
Akwa Ibom?
And Akwa Ibom, of course. Yes.
Right.
Those are the coasters. Basically,
Bayelsa?
Yes. Southeast and South-South without Edo State.
Without Edo State.
That's correct. And then including Igede, Idoma.
Right, the Benues. So
That's
the
correct.
Igalas and part of the Kogi,
Yes.
Kogi
Yes.
State, right?
Yeah.
Nyosom Wike, the governor of Anambra, sorry, the governor of River State, made a statement, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday,
Yes, I heard about it.
and said, you know, you should not be including River State.
It's for the
and
people of River State to decide,
people.
not him. I can't decide for Biafrans. They have to go and vote and convince the whole world that they want Biafra. It's not for instance, it's only one man, one vote.
What if they're not even willing to take part in the referendum? Because I've had people from the South, for example, from Bayelsa. I've had people from Cross River. I think there's a famous actress, Kate Henshaw, for example, wrote a long piece about why people of the South don't want to be dragged into a place called Biafra. You're saying, regardless of what they say, you want a referendum in those parts?
Because I know the majority of the people want a referendum. I was in Iguacha yesterday.
How do you know?
I was there yesterday. I was in Iguacha yesterday. You call Port Harcourt. I was there yesterday. I should have been there to see what happened.
Now,
They're delighted to see me. I'm sure you know that. It's all over the place. They're very happy to see me. I bet Kate Henshaw wouldn't get such reception. Where she to go to?
she's a big, popular Nollywood actress. I wouldn't necessarily.
I'm telling you, if I go to her village, people will turn out to see me more than turn out to see her.
And I don't hear wetin Mazi and the Kanu talk for people where they think say this man a terrorist, this man no be terrorist. Only waiting they talk na truth. Make Nigeria do the right thing. And waiting in the fight for waiting in tell Nigeria say, make una create enable environment, make una create road, make una create seaport for Biafra. If na say una go fit do all those things, then no problem. We no go to agitate. Nigeria they fail to do that now. They pursue waiting, they even pursue when they pursue them. Now you keep Mazi and the Kanu for prison for no good reason because of the truth. People will be say they be men terrorists. Government they see them, they do as if say they know they see them. Just and they didn't tire me. They give terrorists, the men terrorists ransom. They didn't tire me. Now you just keep I don't know. people where they even blame now the governors. Now the governors they do all those nonsense, they move up and down. Now people where they blame. Well, I know from one just they talk the way since they did my heart. I just share this video back. When I share this video and drop your opinion at the comment section. What I think, drop it at the comment section. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates. Share this video to everyone on every social media platform. Thank you.